Have you ever felt like you're constantly rushing, chasing something you can't quite name? In a world that screams for more, faster, and louder, there's a quiet, ancient wisdom that whispers a different truth. A truth about finding peace not by adding more, but by letting go. Today, let's take a journey into the heart of Taoist philosophy, exploring timeless quotes that can help us find our balance in this chaotic, modern life. Let's start with one of the most famous lines from the Tao Te Ching. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. It's so simple, yet so profound. We often get overwhelmed by the sheer size of our goals. We want to write a book, start a business, or learn a new skill, and the mountain ahead seems impossible to climb. This quote reminds us to bring our focus back to the present, to the one small action we can take right now. Don't worry about step 500 or step 1,000. Just focus on taking that first step and then the next. Progress isn't about giant leaps. It's about consistent, steady movement. Each small step you take is a victory in itself. Next, let's consider this gem. Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. Think about a forest. The trees don't stress about growing taller. The rivers don't rush to reach the sea. Everything unfolds in its own perfect time, following a natural rhythm. We, on the other hand, are always in a hurry. We have deadlines, schedules, and endless to-do lists. We try to force things to happen on our timeline, and we get frustrated when they don't. This quote invites us to trust the process. It teaches us patience and the wisdom of allowing things to develop naturally. Sometimes the best action is non-action, letting the universe do its work. When you plant a seed, you don't dig it up every day to see if it's growing. You trust the process. Why not apply that same trust to our own lives? This leads us beautifully to the concept of Wu Wei, often translated as effortless action. It's not about being lazy or passive. It's about moving with the current of life instead of fighting against it. Lao Tzu said, "When I let go of what I am, I become what I might be." We often cling so tightly to our identities, our plans, our expectations. We think, I am a manager, or I must achieve this specific goal by this age. This attachment to a fixed idea of ourselves can be incredibly limiting. It creates resistance and struggle. Wu Wei asks us to loosen our grip. When you stop trying to force a certain outcome and instead respond skillfully to what life presents, you find a new kind of freedom and effectiveness. It's like a skilled sailor who doesn't fight the wind, but uses it to guide the boat to its destination. Where in your life are you fighting the wind? What would it feel like to simply adjust your sails? Here's a powerful one for our modern, information-overloaded minds. To know that you do not know is the highest attainment. In an age where everyone seems to be an expert, admitting, "I don't know," can feel like a weakness. But in Taoist thought, it's the ultimate strength. It's the beginning of all wisdom. When you think you have all the answers, you close yourself off to learning and growth. Your cup is already full. But when you embrace uncertainty, you open yourself up to new possibilities, new perspectives, and deeper understanding. True intelligence isn't about having all the facts memorized. It's about maintaining a curious, open mind. It's about being humble enough to realize that the universe is far more complex and mysterious than we can ever fully grasp. And there's a great peace in that. Let's talk about simplicity. The Tao Te Ching says, simplicity, patience, compassion. These three are your greatest treasures. In a world that values complexity and accumulation, this is a radical idea. We're taught to want more money, more possessions, more followers. But does more always equal happier? Taoism suggests the opposite. By simplifying our lives, we reduce the noise and distraction. We create space. Space to think, to feel, to connect with what truly matters. Patience, as we've seen, is about trusting life's timing. And compassion for ourselves and for others is the glue that holds it all together. When you're kind to yourself during your struggles and extend that kindness to others, you create a life of profound meaning. So ask yourself, what can you simplify today? What can you let go of to make room for these greater treasures? Now for a thought that might challenge our ideas about success and failure. The flame that burns twice as bright burns half as long. This isn't a warning against passion, but a caution against burnout. It's a reminder about sustainability and balance. Our culture often glorifies the hustle, the all-nighters, the relentless pursuit of ambition. We see people who shine incredibly brightly for a short time, only to fizzle out. Taoist wisdom encourages a more sustainable approach. It's about finding a rhythm that you can maintain for the long haul. It's the gentle, steady glow of a candle, not the explosive flash of a firework. A long and fulfilling life is a marathon, not a sprint. Tending to your own energy, resting when you need to, and pacing yourself are not signs of weakness. They are signs of profound wisdom. And what about our relationships with others? The wise man is one who, in caring for others, finds his own needs fulfilled. This flips our typical thinking on its head. We often think we need to secure our own happiness first before we can help others. But Taoism teaches that our well-being is deeply interconnected. When we act with kindness, generosity, and genuine care for the people around us, we create a positive feedback loop. The joy and connection we foster in others reflects back onto us. It's not about self-sacrifice in a depleting way. It's about understanding that we are all part of the same whole. Helping your neighbor is, in a very real sense, helping yourself. True fulfillment isn't a solitary pursuit. It's a shared experience. This brings us to one of the most essential concepts in Taoism, duality and balance, represented by the yin and yang. The Tao gives birth to one. One gives birth to two. This refers to the idea that everything in the universe is composed of opposing but complementary forces. Light and dark, soft and hard, masculine and feminine. We tend to judge these, labeling one as good and the other as bad. We chase pleasure and run from pain. We seek success and fear failure. But the Tao teaches that you cannot have one without the other. The valley is what makes the mountain high. Failure is what gives success its meaning. Instead of resisting the negative parts of life, can we learn to see them as part of the whole picture? Can we find the strength in vulnerability, the lesson in loss, the rest in darkness? Embracing this balance is key to finding inner peace. Life isn't about living in perpetual sunshine. It's about learning to dance in the rain. Let's look at this quote. A good traveler has no fixed plans and is not intent on arriving. This is about the journey, not the destination. How often do we live our lives with our eyes fixed on a future goal? We think, I'll be happy when I get that promotion, or I'll relax once I'm on vacation. In doing so, we miss the beauty and richness of the present moment. we miss the journey itself. A good traveler, a wise person, is fully present where they are. They are open to detours and unexpected discoveries. They know that the process of getting there is just as important, if not more so, than the arrival. Life is what's happening right now, in this very breath. If we're always focused on the destination, we'll find that we've traveled a long way without ever really living. And finally, let's close with this beautiful and liberating thought. Care about people's approval, and you will be their prisoner. In the age of social media, this has never been more relevant. We curate our lives, post our highlights, and then anxiously check for likes and comments. Our self-worth becomes tied to the validation of others. The Tao reminds us that true freedom comes from within. It comes from knowing your own worth, independent of external opinions. When you stop seeking approval, you are free to be your most authentic self. You can make choices that are right for you, not choices designed to please an audience. This doesn't mean being unkind or inconsiderate, but it does mean anchoring your sense of self in a deeper, more stable place. Your value is inherent. It's not up for a vote. These ancient words from Taoist philosophy are not just intellectual ideas. They are practical guides for a more peaceful, authentic, and joyful life. They invite us to slow down, to listen, to trust, and to let go. To find strength in softness, wisdom in not knowing, and wealth in simplicity. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Perhaps your step today is to take one of these ideas and just sit with it. Let it sink in. See how it might gently shift your perspective. Thank you so much for joining me on this quiet reflection today. If this resonated with you, consider subscribing for more journeys into life's big questions. Take care and be well.